Welcome, everybody. We are going to continue our discussion here in Chapter 4 of the risk assessment stage of the audit. Remember, we talked about there's 3 stages to the audit: risk assessment, where we come up with our audit plan; the risk response stage, where we gather a lot of the evidence we're going to use to judge individual accounts; and then the final reporting stage at the very end of the audit. So in Chapter 3, we looked at some overarching issues here like materiality, professional skepticism, and audit risk that are going to affect the risk assessment process. Now in Chapter 4, we're going to look at more specific details of a company's environment that could affect our risk assessment. So we're going to look at all these different factors that create risks for companies and try to put these factors together to have a broad understanding of the total types of risks the company is facing. So even if we have 2 companies in the same industry, we could have very different risk profiles for those companies. So imagine 2 companies that are restaurants. One is a high-end restaurant, another is a fast food restaurant. They might have very different risks, even though they're in a similar industry. For the folks that are running a high-end restaurants, economic recession might be very important to them. If we go into a recession, that can affect places that sell more kind of luxury type goods. In fact, for some place like McDonald's or Burger King, maybe people actually start going there more if they have less money because they sell more affordable food. So that's one factor that may be more prominent for a high-end restaurant as opposed to a fast food joint. So there's different factors that can affect these companies. So we want to have a very, very good understanding of what's going on with our clients on an audit. We want to know not only what type of industry is it in, but how do the unique attributes of this company, create risks or help us mitigate against risks. So there's a couple different techniques we have at our disposal as auditors to gain this understanding of the clients. We could have inquiry, just directly talking with folks, not only within the company, but outside the company. So we could talk with executives in the company, workers in different positions within the company, but also the company's vendors, the company's customers, lenders, investors. So this can help give us a general idea of the risks the company's facing. Also, analytical procedures. You learn about ratio analysis when you are in a managerial accounting class. You think of calculating ratios like return on assets, return on equities. Managers within companies do this to try to judge their own performance as a benchmark to see how well they're doing compared to some type of standard that's been laid out. But also auditors do this as well. So auditors will crunch these ratios to try to get an understanding of what's going on with the company. They'll try to calculate the debt to equity ratio, for instance, to see the level of the company's indebtedness and compare that to maybe other competitors within the industry. So this is a really important tool that auditors use specifically in this risk assessment part of the audit to try to get an understanding of a company's risks. Also, observation and inspection are 2 other ways that auditors gain this initial understanding of the client. Observation just means to directly observe the operations of a company. So think of a company that maybe produces some type of good. The auditors could conceivably go to the factory and watch and see how the good is produced to kind of get an idea of what's going on with the company's internal operations. Also, inspection is another way we can understand the client, inspecting source documents, invoices, board of director meeting minutes, things of these types can help give us a better idea. So these are 4 kind of broad classes we're talking about of ways to actually gain this understanding. So we're going to use these tools to try to understand some different aspects of the company. One big one that we want to start out with is just this general client profile. All right, like who are their major customers? Who are their major suppliers? We want to know, are their customers able to pay them on a timely basis? Is this company selling goods to customers that are maybe in risky situations or that are maybe at risk of being affected by a recession? Also the suppliers, that's a very important relationship for a company. So we want to talk to the suppliers to kind of get a feel about the strength of that relationship with our client. We want to know, has the client been able to pay in a timely manner in the past? That's going to give us really important information about the risk of them having liquidity issues in the future. Also, we want to know just the nature of what they're selling. Are they an importer, an exporter? What type of technology is going to affect the business? Not only in means of production, but also in means of distribution and so forth. So these are some various risks that we can kind of learn about if we focus on kind of higher level overarching issues involving our clients. Then we also want to understand the operations and accounting principles. So we're kind of now delving more into the specifics of how our company operates. So again, we talked about the idea that you could have observation directly of an assembly line, for instance, to kind of get a feel for how the company operates. Also, we want to look at specific things like warranties that the company has provided to customers, and also discounts either given to the clients or received by the client from its suppliers. These details of the company's operations are going to help us as an auditor have a better feel for the risks the company faces. And also then, of course, we want to have a very clear understanding of the accounting principles being selected and how they're applying it. For instance, we want to be aware of depreciation methods they use. Have they changed their depreciation methods over time, or inventory valuation methods? And this kind of leads into the understanding of the client's structure. So we want to know about significant accounts and classes of transaction, both principles that the company's following and also those significant accounts. And then we want to think about, how is the company financed? What level of debt does the company have? We want to think about, for a corporation, the makeup of the equity outstanding. Do we have preferred stock? Things of that nature. So really want a kind of a detailed understanding of the company's capital structure. And this is going to help us kind of lay the groundwork for a lot of the investigation we do later when we're worried about a company's liquidity or their solvency down the road. So we could see some issues here on this slide that kind of affect the company's business environment at large. So some very good information here discussing some major factors that can kind of affect the company on kind of a high level. So the level of competition in the industry, the company's reputation, these are going to be big factors that can influence the inherent risk of the company. And remember that difference between inherent risk and control risk. The risk of a material misstatement, the risk that a company has incorrectly stated something material in its financial statements, is a combination of inherent risk and control risk. Inherent risk is just the risk that something during the company's operations causes a misstatement in the financials. Control risk is that internal control is improperly functioning or not being put in place to begin with, are going to create a misstatement. So the level of competition in the industry can be an inherent risk to a company. If you're operating in a very competitive industry, for instance, this can make it harder to generate profit, which could cause a company to kind of cut corners when we're talking about application of accounting principles and policies. Also, reputation comes into play. This is something that we're going to put a lot of time into understanding in this risk assessment stage. What is the company's reputation? Those discussions with customers, suppliers, workers at the firm helps us as an auditor kind of figure out what the company's reputation is. If the company has a poor reputation, in general, this is kind of a red flag that they may well have higher inherent risk. The demand for a company's product is another big factor that influences inherent risk. If a company has seasonal demand for their product, for instance, that can lead the company to be more at risk in general, which could lead to, again, cutting corners when applying GAAP and accounting principles. Also, that the economic environment in general, we talked about this in regards to the two restaurants we looked at earlier, but if we're in a situation where there's an economic downturn, companies might face a greater pressure to kind of overstate earnings, to try to pump earnings up to meet expectations or make it look like they're earning a profit. And kind of conversely, you might have the opposite situation as well. If a company's doing really bad one year and they know they're going to take a loss, they might just take some measures, apply some accounting principles in a way that those losses are magnified. We call this taking a bath in accounting and finance. Basically, enlarging your loss in a bad year so it looks better in future years. So in an economic downturn, accountants might have varying incentives. As an auditor, you want to understand the industry, understand the specifics of the company's situation,